It's been said before, but Girl Scout cookies really do have an unusual business model, at least from the outside looking in. They're only sold a couple of months per year, and you can't buy them in stores. You have to either know a scout or go and find one of their table setups. Of course, this is fully intentional. It's hard to teach young girls anything about entrepreneurship if adults are just organizing with other adults to sell the product on retail store shelves. And scarcity doesn't hurt popularity. How excited would you ever be to go get a Shamrock Shake if you could just find one in mid-September? In recent years, though, the Girl Scout cookie footprint has expanded somewhat. You still can't buy the cookies in stores, but you can buy ice cream with pieces of the cookies in stores. And this year, you can also find bottled iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts with 3 of the Girl Scout cookie flavors in stores. Oh, here's some right now. So as far as I can tell, there are 3 flavors of this Dunkin' iced coffee. So s'mores, which is based on a relatively new Girl Scout cookie flavor. And interestingly, that one, so Girl Scout cookies have 2 bakeries that supply the cookies to different parts of the country. So there's the Little Brownie Bakers, and there's also ABC bakeries. And the different bakeries own different trademarks. So for example, if you see Samoa's, that is a Little Brownie Baker's product. The cookie from ABC, which is based on the Samoa, is called Caramel Delights, because they're not allowed to use the name because Little Brownie Bakers owns that trademark. This is my understanding. There are some cookies where the Girl Scouts own the trademark. So Thin Mints, the cookie is called Thin Mints from both Little Brownie and ABC, although it is a slightly different recipe. Now, s'mores is a weird one because I guess, presumably you can't own the trademark on s'mores. So there's a Little Brownie s'mores and there's an ABC s'mores, and these 2 cookies are completely different. Like Girl Scouts just said to them, listen, we want a s'more cookie. You just go make what you think should be a s'more cookie. And they both made something fairly different. So I believe, if I'm recalling correctly, the Little Brownie one is kind of a sandwich cookie, and the ABC one is like a fudge-covered graham with some marshmallow cream in it. But at any rate, this is the s'mores, so that's a pretty new Girl Scout cookie flavor. The camera might be shaking a lot during this episode. Also, it's windy outside, which seems to be shaking the camera in here. So that's a little weird, but anyway. Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee with marshmallowy and chocolatey taste. And this is a coffee and milk beverage naturally flavored with other natural flavors. Does have kind of a marshmallowy smell. Sure. I mean, one thing that I have an issue with when it comes to s'mores, the s'more is a very specific recipe, right? So you've got graham cracker, chocolate, usually like a Hershey bar in this country anyway. I guess I don't know how popular s'mores are outside of the US, but Hershey bars here typically. And then the marshmallow, and you'd like, a toasted marshmallow or a campfire roasted marshmallow. If you just make it in the microwave, probably not gonna be quite as good, but that'll obviously do in a pinch. Frequently when you have a product that's like, I'm a s'mores product, mostly what you get is this kind of marshmallowy taste. I think for a couple of reasons. One, it's probably the easiest one to generate. And 2, marshmallow flavors, they're kind of like, it's actually interesting because all 3 of these, well, I digress, but all 3 of these have a flavor that I think is known for taking over anything that it's in. So you have marshmallow, you have coconut, you have mint. If you have one of those 3 flavors, those are usually very dominant flavors in any kind of snack product. You know, I typically find that if you put coconut in anything, a little bit goes a long way. And the same is kind of true with marshmallow. So this tastes mostly like marshmallow, maybe a little bit of chocolate. You really can't taste the coffee virtually at all, which that may not be the goal of, you know, a commercially bottled iced coffee drink. You know, if you go and look at all the videos on this channel, you'll see that, you know, half of them are Rob's coffee journeys, which if you watch any of those videos, you will see that I am an incredible coffee snob. So bottled Dunkin' iced coffee, from a coffee flavor standpoint, maybe not exactly in my wheelhouse, but these don't really, well, this one anyway, the s'mores that I'm starting with here, does not taste much like coffee. It kind of just has a predominating marshmallow flavor. I mean, certainly that's basically all you can smell is the marshmallow. Yeah, it doesn't taste like a whole heck of a lot beyond the marshmallow. I mean, little bit of chocolate, you know, but it kind of tastes like marshmallowy chocolate milk. Like if you just told me this was marshmallow chocolate milk, you know, this is s'mores chocolate milk, and you didn't say there was supposed to be any coffee in it, I don't know that I would know that there was coffee in it, which is weird and not ideal, I think, for a bottled coffee drink, even if the market for this is not necessarily people who want a super, super strong coffee flavor, which it probably is not. Because if you want a nice strong coffee flavor, are you buying Girl Scout cookie flavored milk drinks off the store shelf at Target? No, you're probably not. But nevertheless, I'm kind of surprised that it basically does not taste like coffee at all. All right, so this is coconut caramel. Now, this is an interesting one because Samoa's, which is the cookie this is based on, that is a Little Brownie Baker trademark, and Caramel Delights are an ABC Bakeries trademark. But this is just coconut caramel, I assume, because the Girl Scouts themselves, who license these products, do not own either the Samoa's or the Caramel Delights trademark. So they can show the cookie that this is supposed to taste like, but they cannot use the name of either of the actual cookies. So it's a little, you know, bit of a funny thing, you know, funny kind of copyright trademark deal. It's a little surprising that the Girl Scouts couldn't kind of get together with one of the bakeries and get them to license the name out, but they didn't. It does smell very coconutty. And as much as I like Samoa's, which are my favorite Girl Scout cookie, they're actually not overwhelmingly coconutty in my experience. I mean, obviously they taste like coconut, but like they're a rare example of something that has coconut in it, but it's not just like, you know, huge, huge coconut taste. I mean, it's prominent, of course, but you do get a nice caramel and a nice chocolate in there as well. They do a good job kind of, you know, toasting the outside a bit. This just smells like coconut. So we'll see if the flavor is kind of, has anything distinct from just the coconut taste. Like how much am I gonna taste the caramel, for example? Let's find out. Well, as strong as the coconut smell was, the coconut flavor is not that strong. You do get some caramel sweetness in there, yeah. I mean, the caramel sweetness is probably about as strong as the coconut. So actually, the balance on those two flavors is pretty good. So you know what? I withdraw my complaint on the aroma. I think the coconut just kind of hit first because now I'm smelling it and it smells pretty caramelly. So, all right, fair enough. Once again, what this really does not taste like is coffee. Like, basically at all. I mean, I guess there's kind of a very mild underlying bitterness, but like really mild. That kind of suggests maybe there's a little bit of coffee in here. And coffee is the first ingredient. I mean, I don't know what kind of coffee they used for this. I mean, usually when you're making like a milk drink, right, you want that kind of darker roast. So you keep that coffee flavor once you've poured all this other stuff on top of it. They really haven't done that here. I don't know if this is just kind of brewed weak or what, but it just does not taste like coffee to me. It just tastes like flavored milk. Well, I suspect I know about how this is going to go, but Thin Mints. This is one, I forget if I mentioned it or not, where I think the Girl Scouts own the trademark, so they can say, yeah, go ahead and call it Thin Mints. Well, it smells like a Thin Mint, mostly because it smells like chocolate and mint, which that's just going to smell like a Thin Mint. But does it put me in mind of a Thin Mint? Definitely does not taste like coffee at all. Like, this probably tastes the least like coffee of the three, which is saying something because neither of those really tasted like coffee either. I mean, the mint and the chocolate really cover it up. I think the Samoa or the coconut caramel tasted the most like coffee of the three, which is to say, barely. But the chocolate, really covers up that coffee flavor in any meaningful way. And the mint, all the more so. I'm mostly getting a lot of cocoa in there, a little bit of mint. It's not overwhelming. So I know that I said that all three of those flavors, marshmallow, coconut, and mint, tended to overwhelm. The mint is not overwhelming here. And the coconut really wasn't either, so in my face. This is totally pleasant. It's, again, kind of like a chocolate milk with a little bit of mint flavor, which is, sounds perfectly delicious to me. Does not taste like coffee at all. Doesn't really make me think of a Thin Mint. It's very just kind of cocoa-y. That's probably the best of the three. Because the first one with just kind of the marshmallow, and then the coconut caramel, honestly, I might have liked a skosh more coconut. Honestly, as contradictory as that is to what I was saying before, I think I could have used a little bit more there. This one, there's enough mint. I maybe would have liked just a splash more. I'm glad they didn't overdo it on either of those flavors, but you can underdo these things as well. Yeah, so on the whole, these are pretty disappointing. They don't really taste much like the cookies that they're trying to emulate. They're kind of just sort of generic flavors that are flavored roughly the same as the ingredients of those cookies, but they're also just not very good coffee drinks. I mean, they don't taste like coffee at all. They taste like flavored milk, which, if that's what you want, that's fine. And, if you're trying to like sneak yourself some caffeine and you just hate the taste of coffee, then maybe you'll like these. But for me, if I'm buying a coffee drink, I want to at least taste some coffee. You're just not getting that here. It really is just milk with some flavoring, basically. That tastes okay on kind of a universal level, None of these are going to be like poison in my mouth when I have to go and finish them later. So, okay, but would I ever buy these again? Goodness me, no, I would not. Yeah. That's it for this episode of Flax on Snacks. I believe we are still in Girl Scout cookie season in a lot of the country, so if you are interested in buying some Girl Scout cookies, I think you can go on their website and find like where tables are set up in your area, where they're having their kind of like sidewalk sales. And if you are interested in Girl Scout cookies, I would suggest doing that and not purchasing these because they're not very good. And certainly they are inadequate replacements for the cookies themselves at really no caloric savings. So why do these exist? Because they can, but should they exist? No, probably not. That's it for this episode. Got a spicy one coming soon. And kind of a candy clearinghouse. I've got several candy products I need to review, so keep your eyes peeled for those. I'm going to hopefully knock those out within the next week or so. But until the next time, go get some actual Girl Scout cookies, and I'll see you later.